party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home.
Good morning and afternoon. You're listening to the Ball Talk podcast. And if you are a longtime listener, you know this is not Ben starting the podcast. This is me, your friend Chris. We are trying something a little different today. We're not going to talk much Thunder. There's not much basketball going on. As people have pointed out, we are Ball Talk podcast, not the Thunder Balls podcast. So we're going to try to do something a little different. We're gonna wing it tonight, do a little more different sports. So jump on our backs and we'll fly to the moon. Ben, how you doing, man? What's up?
I'm good, man. Great job on the intro.
Amazing. Thanks. I was nervous. When
Amazing.
we were down, I didn't know if I could do it.
He found out he was doing the intro about 30 seconds before he did that intro. No, I'm good. I am very much starting to see the goodness in football season coming. I have not watched as much of the Thunder championship highlights as I have been. I've gotten it down to about one video a day instead of all 16 wins per day.
What's funny about that is my dad also, who I don't, I love my dad, not the most technologically savvy guy.
Call him out on the pod.
Told us that he was also like rewatching games at night. Like it's still in, like I'm wearing the finals championship t-shirt right now. Like it's in our blood.
It's never going away. It's never going away.
So it's nice to hear from you that you're more excited about football now.
And I will say, before we get into football, the rest of the schedule came out since our last podcast. The last podcast was the night before the schedule release for the Thunder. And the only thing I'll say, 82-0 is on the table.
Yeah, we're 82-0 until we lose a game.
Yeah. 81-1 is in play. That's just how it works.
I don't expect us to lose a game. A healthy J-Dub, a more balanced Chet, and SGA, who continues to get better every year. I don't see us losing a game next year.
Yeah, and there's no stretch in that schedule that scares me, mainly because I guess the only weird thing is we don't play Denver until February for the first time.
It'll be interesting for sure.
And I think they're our second to last game of the season. So depending on record and division, I said on the last podcast, all I really care about is getting home court because we saw how big that was. So I think that'll be interesting. But outside of that, straightforward schedule. Nothing crazy.
I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I really enjoyed. I think I'm going to enjoy leading up to All-Star break. I know that sort of basketball gets a little wonky. There's a little bit people are just kind of trying to get to All-Star break, but there's something kind of magical about the teams we're playing. I can't remember exactly what got me excited about it, but that was that week. Let me look it up really quick.
I mean, that's like a slog, though. That's the time of year where, you have to just struggle to wins because people are just coasting to the All-Star break. They say that, January is probably the best basketball of the season in terms of quality from top to bottom because November and December, you're kind of getting the rust knocked off. You have the NBA Cup now, which adds games, but there's a lot of basketball now pushed into January, and you don't have the All-Star break peering over the shoulder, kind of hey, I'm almost here. So teams really get down into it. So January 1, that means you're past football season. So we'll see where Ball Talk is around that time. But that's when the focus really starts shifting to where the Thunder are, how they're looking, and we'll see what it looks like when we get there. Did you get the schedule pulled up?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be February 15th through the 19th, or the 13th through the 19th, it seems.
In February.
Right. Yeah, so before that we play leading into that we play the Rockets, Miami, Cleveland, Milwaukee. We are at home versus Indiana, Toronto, New Orleans, who could be those three teams I expect to be bad. But then it goes straight into away at Minnesota, away at Denver, Orlando, which will be interesting. It's always a good game versus San Antonio. Then we play the Rockets at home, LA away.
Is this all in February?
That's the end of January. start of February, first 2 weeks of February.
Yeah,
going
that's a good stretch of basketball.
Phoenix and then Milwaukee before the All-Star break. And who knows what Milwaukee will be, but they're always, with Giannis, they always have a potential to be there. And then even after we play Cleveland, Toronto, Detroit should be good. Denver again in February. So that's like February should be a fun stretch of basketball for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that last year. They play on my birthday again this year, so that's sick. I already have birthday plans. They do not.
Are they at home? Oh, you checked? Thank you.
They're at home
from Milwaukee at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not my birthday, but not here. We could go to New York for my birthday.
Is it the Knicks or Brooklyn?
It's the Knicks. We could go to the
What day is your birthday?
New Yorker, March 4th.
Yeah, but like Wednesday? Oh, easy. That's the easiest day of the week to travel.
We could travel, so
flights would be stupid cheap.
Monday the 2nd. Yeah, I mean it's the weekday. People don't go to New York during the weekday. No, it's a weekend city. Hello. No, so like Monday the 2nd is off. Then we play Chicago on the 3rd. So we could fly to Chicago on the 3rd, then fly to New York on the 4th. You should ask if they have any extra seats on the team plane. Oh, that, you know what? Hey, if the podcast gets big enough by then, we might be invited.
We have a chance.
There's a chance. There's always a chance.
I'm not going to say no to it at this time.
True.
I'm going to let things run its course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the other thing to note with that schedule, the Thunder are tied for the most national television games with the Lakers, the Warriors, and the Knicks. So
which
pretty
means
dang cool.
Good because those are three giant
massive markets.
Yeah. The three biggest probably.
It was 34 of the 82 games. And that doesn't include the if they advance in the NBA Cup, those will all be nationally broadcast.
Do NBA TV games count?
No.
Yeah, I thought it was just we're the this first game back on CBS, aren't we? NBC. But honestly, we probably need to do like a podcast where we list all of the different streaming platforms you need now, because it's like Amazon, Peacock, NBC, ESPN, like your FanDuel Sports or whatever. You're gonna have to get creative to watch basketball this year. Yeah, which is terrible. In a small market like us, and I don't know if I've said it publicly, but you should be able to go anywhere, especially at a bar. If you wanted to watch the Thunder play, they should have it on a local channel. They should be able to flip to a cable channel and watch the Thunder play basketball. And with the TV rights and things like that, it's just not.
They'll have to fix it eventually, but it's not going to get fixed this year.
So if those 34 games that are nationally televised, are they also going to be on FanDuel Sports? Or are they going to be blacked on FanDuel?
It's not all of them will be blacked out on FanDuel, but I think a majority of them are. It just depends on which network it's on. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. But we don't have to worry about that yet. There's only one pay-per-view game for OU football every year, and we're probably at that game, so we're fine.
It's Illinois.
Illinois State.
I don't know. It might be. Let's see. It's
on SEC Plus.
Oh, SEC Illinois. Network. Okay, then that would be the only pay-per-view game.
Regardless, Chris, I think it's time. Let's talk some football. Where are we going now? What do you want to talk about?
Let's go ahead and talk some Week 0 games, huh? What do you think?
I mean, it's the first. Honestly, it's the most excited I've been, even with all I've said about slowly getting into football this year. It's the most excited I've been for a Week 0 slate, probably ever.
Well, yeah. So I sat down before my wife and I were going to watch maybe Harry Potter or Jurassic Park or something. I'd never seen Jurassic Park. Shout out Jurassic Park. It's actually a pretty good movie.
A classic, some might say.
It's a classic. Some plot holes, but that's okay. But I was sitting down before she came in. I turned on some NFL preseason, and I got the juice flowing.
Or in the last couple of days.
It was.
I was like, "There's no preseason tonight." You were in deep if you were doing it not tonight because you'd be watching a replay. I think that was Monday night.
Yeah, Monday night, and so it kind of got my juice flowing. I could feel the blood pumping through my body a little faster, wanting to go hit something. And that's not usually my vibe. But
yeah, you're a very confrontational person.
I love to tackle. Maybe we should, at the tailgate, we should have a
Oklahoma drill
going on. To enter.
And that's how you get into the podcast.
You must beat someone in the family So your easiest option would be like my dad.
Or like little baby Elliot. Or
Right.
he comes to tailgates.
Yeah.
He comes to
Or you
tailgates.
can also get matched
Little
up with
toddler
like
Elliot.
Alex or Brian or me.
You have to like it's a fishbowl, and
Yes.
you don't get to pick
You get
your
lucky.
opponent. Yeah, or spin
What
the wheel.
an idea!
Spin the
what
wheel.
an idea!
Yeah.
It'd be fun for everybody. Concussions all around.
But before we get into that, I think the number one game of week 0, before we move on to OU football, we're back in the Big 12. You got the 22nd ranked Iowa State Cyclones at, and I'm using air quotes, at the 17th ranked Kansas State Wildcats in Dublin, Ireland.
In Ireland,
I don't know which.
That's not an Irish accent. Maybe I don't. Here, give me a try. Oh, laddie, is that Scottish?
I think that's more Scottish.
Scottish, yeah. It's got to be. I don't know. Yeah, intelligible would be like an Irish accent, just something
Correct.
you can't understand.
Correct.
But they are playing in Dublin. They are the best game on week 0, and in my head, it's a little strange to have a conference game the first week. Because I feel like every team besides, I guess, these teams, and maybe Ohio and Rutgers, are using the first week as like a scrimmage, right? There are some teams
not everyone. There's some really good week 1 games this year.
Okay.
Like you got Clemson, LSU, you got Alabama, Florida State, Texas, Ohio State, Miami, Notre Dame, North Carolina, TCU. Like there's actually like it's a pretty like well packed first weekend of games.
Yeah.
Especially to watch. I'm glad that we're not playing in any of these. Our matchup will be week 2, but I'm gonna enjoy sitting at the tailgate and watching it. But for there to be a ranked matchup in Ireland, one, I was talking to somebody about this today, forfeiting a home game on your schedule to go play in Ireland. I know it's probably cool, and like I know they probably have like some kind of like package they have available for alumni and students to go watch the game. But like one of the greatest things in college football is like going to your 6 or 7 home games in the fall.
Yes.
And like you miss out on that with this situation. You do have the international spotlight in this game.
You're all on with TV.
And
it is
an
true.
11 a.m. kick, but it's the only one on.
11 a.m. kick is for the first week of football in a different country. Feels
well,
sort
it'll be
of
like a 5 or
kick in the
6
pants.
p.m. kickoff.
Yeah, but it feels like a
Ireland.
kick in the pants. It sounds like you're right. It sounds really cool, but it feels like a kick in the pants.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially I would rather
I-
play a bad Big 12 team. I don't want to play Iowa State.
Yeah, 100%. If you go to Ireland, you want to win, and if you go to Ireland, you don't want to have a week 1 game. Iowa State plays the next week. If I was a betting man, which I do not bet. I'm not saying you shouldn't, because I have bet before. I do bet. If I was a betting man,
That's viral quick.
I did. I was, oh my gosh, all over the place. But if I was a betting man, I would bet Iowa State. They do play like a non-Power 5 team.
FCS.
Yeah. So they do have a game the next week. Kansas State has a week off, so they'll be able to come back and get resituated. But Iowa State does not. So that would be a little interesting. Maybe that their opponent will cover because they play South Dakota. So maybe South Dakota cover would be a fun bet to have in week 1.
I don't know how much you've looked into that game, but one, I think it's obviously a fantastic weekend. I don't know if it's because we were in the Big 12, we're still kind of in Big 12 country, so I'm like more fascinated by that game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what will be interesting is I think Iowa State starts slow a lot. Every year it seems like they lose to Iowa, and then they're one loss away from relevancy in a playoff ranking or whatever it might be. They lose their first Big 12 game, so they don't make the Big 12 championship. Kansas State has a running back on their team. His name's Dylan Edwards. He actually was like a longtime OU lean for a while and then ended up going to Colorado. He had an explosive game in his first college game against TCU that kind of brought Colorado back on the map, and then transferred to Kansas State. They have Avery Johnson as their quarterback, who he is an incredible athlete. I don't know if he's a quarterback.
But that's Kansas State. That's the Kansas State model. Also the Iowa State model. It's the perfect. I was saying it's kind of a kick in the pants, but for these two teams specifically, doesn't it feel like the perfect Irish play style? It's all
Yeah,
it's
like
rugby.
Rugby, but like Big 12 rugby.
Yeah,
you know?
no passing, hard-nosed defense, not very much scoring, but they're going to run the ball. Both the teams are going to run the ball with their quarterback and with their running backs.
Iowa State returns, 12 starters. They won 11 games last year. Rocco Becht, I think is how you say his last name, played good last year. But they lost. They had two, I know for sure one, I'd have to go back and double check. They had one, maybe two, second round draft picks at receiver. So I don't know how they would replace that. But the guy last year had 25 touchdowns, over 3,500 yards. He was solid.
Mm-hmm.
But the hope is for Kansas State and a team that wants to compete and kind of push into that, maybe sneak in as the Big 12 representative in the playoff this year. This is a game that this is the craziest part about week 0. The seasons are it's make or break on games like these. And
Sure.
It's your first game. It's not even technically the first week of the season. It's week 0.
That's why this sort of matchup is crazy and feels like a kick in the pants. Because
I'd love to watch it. But
I'll be in Virginia, but I'll be for sure sitting in front of a TV.
You won't be in Virginia for this.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to watch this together?
Probably. We don't have any plans.
So
I just know I'm not leaving my couch.
No. Any other game? I think the other game that's interesting, just for where it is Stanford, Hawaii, because Stanford plays in Hawaii at 6:30 on Saturday, and then they don't have a game the next week. So if I'm Stanford, stay in Hawaii.
I'm staying in Hawaii.
Stay in Hawaii. You let the boys have a little bit of fun on the beach. Don't run away too fast. Make that flight back home Wednesday. Give them the rest time early in the week. Fly home later. That's sort of my next best pick. Because anything else, Kansas plays Fresno State, UNLV, Idaho State, Sam Houston, WKU. That's where our
Go Hilltoppers.
No, that's not where our grandfather went. No.
UMKC.
Never mind. UMKC. Boise, and so those are the week 0 games.
I do want to point out one thing about, I know you said Stanford, Hawaii. I think that is a fascinating matchup because I think both teams are horrible.
Oh, okay. And, even at this point in the season, bad football is still football. And we've been so devoted.
2 months ago, all the people are like, I would kill to watch the Tennessee Titans play a Tua Tagovailoa less Miami Dolphins Thursday night football game. People are craving that. So I think
uniforms.
Oh yeah, blinding highlighter uniforms.
That'd be really nice.
So that'll be an interesting game. It's at 6:30, so it's the late game because it's in Hawaii. It won't be too late. But Fresno State at Kansas, I just want to point out, I think Kansas is interesting this year. They've started building their program. They've recruited well, especially for Kansas's standards. And it's also the first game in their newly renovated stadium. And it looks sick. They had
Just love the lawn.
The what?
The lawn. I know one in
the hill.
The hill. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's closed in now. So it's not like it was only kind of how OU used to be, before they closed in the bowl. But it's David Booth. I think he just gave $3 million. I think it's even more than that. But it's a record number of donations by him.
It was David Booth.
He's I don't know what he does, but he's the most wealthy donor for the University of Kansas. He bought the original rules of basketball that James Naismith hand wrote and donated them back. So there's an exhibit outside at the entrance of Allen Fieldhouse, and that's so he loves Kansas, obviously. But he's a huge reason why they've been able to do that.
Is the stadium going to be named after him?
I think so. And I'd have to check, obviously, but I don't know why it wouldn't at this point. But they have a 6th-year quarterback which is kind of crazy.
Really smart.
It's Jaden Daniels, or Jalen Daniels.
Thank God they're stealing Jaden Daniels from the Commanders.
That would be something.
They would be better. I would say if they had Jaden Daniels on their team, they would be better. I know you're talking about the guy who's like super fast, straight line.
Jalen Daniels,
but never could play against OU. He was just always hurt.
Jalen Daniels. But he's a 6-year senior. He's had some like kind of injury stuff that's kind of popped up. Nothing crazy, but they had Jason Bean the last couple of years that really like took over for them. He played
Jason
really well.
Bean was the fast straight line guy.
Correct.
Jalen Daniels is like
Jason Bean was the one that played against OU in 2023 when they upset us and kept us out of the playoffs.
Jason Bean.
They still have a good running back room. They've like hit the portal well, where like they've gotten players that like are the third stringers at some SEC schools, some Big Ten schools. Fun fact: they have one Mr. DJ Graham on their team. Do you remember DJ Graham?
You have a shirt.
I have
a hoodie where he made like caught the ball from going
the
out.
Sickest interception of all time.
Count, right?
It counted, but
did.
Everyone was pissed because he did like if it was 4th down. So if he would have dropped it,
okay,
we would have gotten the ball further.
About that play.
But that's still a blast from the past. He's at Kansas for his last year playing defensive back again.
Okay, I was about to say because I think he went to wide receiver
at Utah State. He did.
And then went back to DB.
And then the other kind of like OU tie, I guess, not to make it too much about OU, but OU had a longtime commit named Jaden Nickens who went to Millwood here. I think you and Jack actually went and saw him play.
In high school. Yeah. He was fast.
He transferred out. He wanted to play both basketball and football. There's a falling out with OU. So he actually committed to Kansas, and he's playing both football and basketball for the Jayhawks.
Kansas?
Yeah.
He has to be pretty special at basketball to do that.
We'll see. Well, let him get through football season, and then we'll see what the basketball roster looks like. But for him to even try it, it's pretty cool. And then they're starting running backs from Moore. His name's Daniel Hinshaw, or Highshaw. But I think Kansas, like that's a game that I'd tune into for sure. Fresno State's always like a sneaky, like non-Power 5 school.
Sure.
They've had good years. They have the Carr brothers to their name. But yeah, I mean, like for a week 0 game in lineup, you have a top 25 matchup. You have like some solid games mixed in there. I mean, it's 11 a.m., 3, 5:30, 6, and 6:30 are the start times. Is there any, and we don't have to go into betting, but I'm curious, is there any line, over, under, money line, upset pick or anything like that you would take on this slate?
Well, after you said that Stanford and Hawaii are bad, I would take the under. It just feels like an under game to me. Like nobody's going to score.
I don't disagree with that. The hard part with that is if both teams are bad, it means two things. It's like there's two possibilities. They both suck and no one's going to score.
Sure.
Or the defense is so bad and it's 50-48 is the final. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
that's like the problem with betting earlier this year, like early in the year.
Yeah, you need to let some things happen.
Or
what's the Kansas State line? What's the
K-State's favored by 3, over-unders at 51.5 currently.
Well, they are the home team.
Yeah, the 3-point swing for home underdog or home lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. The Iowa State Kansas State line has gone up from like 49.5, like literally 5 hours ago, to 51.5. So
really?
People are betting that up. Kansas has moved from 12.5 to 13. I mean, there's some like big lines out there, but it's the first week. You have like you have to win. Kansas has to win by 2 touchdowns. But in these non-conference, like your non-conference schedule is kind of lined up with games like this. So I don't know. I think the over-under in Iowa State K-State would be fun to be on, just because I just want to watch and enjoy that game.
Mm-hmm. Having some action in there would add to that. 100%.
Like action just on like, I just want to cheer for points and not like, oh, I need K-State to somehow pull this out by whatever. You know, like just cheer for offense is always fun coming from OU fans. And then I kind of like KU to cover 12.5.
I like K-State. Yeah, okay. KU to cover 12.5.
Yeah.
And you like the over in the Kansas State-Iowa State game.
Mm.
I like that.
Yeah. There's Ben's picks of the week.
Ben's picks of the week. And now
we'll keep a running tally of how many I lose.
Yes. I'll write that down. We'll write that down, and then we will we'll come up with Ben's picks of the week and see how well he does. Every sort of podcaster stuff do that, so might as well have Ben do it. I'll just get the laugh at him.
We dabbling.
But now we go on to something that we are fondly calling Homer Talk, where we're just going to talk about our favorite teams. And right now, our favorite team would be the University of Oklahoma. So, Ben, before this podcast, you asked me to talk you into why OU is going to be good this year.
Make me believe, Chris.
And I want you to close your eyes. Everyone listening, I want you to close your eyes.
Unless you're driving. This is a podcast. A lot of people,
okay.
My wife listens when she's driving. Bailey, keep your eyes open.
Grace, keep your eyes open.
And everyone else too, but specifically them.
I want you to remember what it felt like to be in college in 2016.
Man, that was a while ago.
I think Mo Bamba was playing. I think we had Gas Pedal was playing in at the bars.
Closer by the Chainsmokers?
Closer by the Chainsmokers. That's the vibe we're going for. Mm-hmm. And so when we were looking towards the football season then, who was our quarterback?
Baker Mayfield.
And I don't think I have to convince you he was good at football. He was good for the university. He was kind of a renegade though, right?
You loved him on your team, you hated him if he wasn't.
Right, he's kind of a renegade. So you're thinking he's kind of a bad boy. We have these we don't know what we have in our wide receiver room, really. We have Mark Andrews. Our running backs are really solid.
We had Sterling Shepard.
Yes.
Not the sophomore year. We had him the first year.
Sure. So now you're thinking.
The second year, though, we had no idea how good D.D. Westbrook was going to be. So there was a question.
Exactly. We didn't know what our wide receiver room was going to be. We had Mark Andrews, who was a solid option, and we still had our running backs, right? We still had Joe Mixon. We still had
Samaje
Perine. And so that is what I want you to think this OU team is. John Mateer, sort of a renegade, sort of a guy.
Might be a gambler. Might be a guy you only like on your team, that you accept those. He's got even Baker sees a lot of him in John Mateer. So that's a plus, right? You think of 2016, life was good. Before the pandemic, life was good. You could lick all the doorknobs you wanted. And so you still can't. It's free country. But
so Baker Mayfield and John Mateer. That's who I'm not saying he's going to be as good, but he kind of gives me that hope. Jay Knott, the running back, he's going to be. I really think he's going to be as good as Joe Mixon. Wow. I'm just saying that on the podcast. And do I feel
we've always said we're a biased pod?
And my friends have told me I can get my enthusiasm for OU football up pretty quick. I'm a believer up pretty quick. And so
don't need PEDs for that.
No. Jay Knott is going to be a dynamic runner. And we also have
Xavier Robinson.
Xavier Robinson, who is the Samaje Perine, the bigger back who's going to run
and
through.
And that doesn't include Taylor Tatum, who was the number one running back in the class last year.
And Taylor Tatum. So running back room is tight. We have a lot of options at wide receiver who need to go prove themselves.
A lot of options that nobody knows about.
That need to prove themselves, and I think they will. We're going to see that the first two games. I think they're going to really dominate this first game. They're going to throw it all over the field, trying to show what Ben Arbuckle is all about. We have a new slinging sort of offensive coordinator. It just screams 2016 to me with a better defense.
You don't have to talk me into the defense. I think the defense will be one of the best in the country.
That's what I'm saying. So think of the 2016 offense with a better defense.
That's a national championship team.
Tell me that doesn't get you excited.
I can't. That'd be a lie. I mean,
exactly. If you would feel so stupid if at the end of the year, OU is, I want to say, in raising a banner or throwing a parade, but OU has won the national championship. To not believe today, you would feel like an idiot. To be like, oh, it was so obvious that OU was going to win. So I want you to believe today so you don't feel stupid in the future.
Here's the deal, though. One of the things that I love, and this reminds me of like 2015, Lincoln's first year, where like we weren't really sure how good we were going to be. And it's super fun to be in that underdog role and kind of like live week to week and kind of be like, oh my God, we won. And oh my God, we won again. Like we just beat Texas. Like what, I don't, not to, that wasn't the exact schedule of that year, but you know, they went into Tennessee and won, and people were like, oh, who's this Baker Mayfield guy? And then that year they actually lost to Texas, but then ran the table, go to Baylor. That was like College Game Day was there. Baylor was at the peak of their powers pre-investigation.
I wouldn't call that power, but yeah.
Yeah. And Baker had like his moment. He threw it to Demetri Flowers, and they won that game. And then we like steamrolled Oklahoma State. And like, so they called it Championship November, and every one of those games was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like
exactly.
So that's what I'm hoping this season.
I think that's what hey, we're on board because that's what I think the season's going to be too.
Starts with Michigan for me. I will know a lot, or at least have like a much stronger feeling in the vibe of the team one way or another after Michigan.
I agree. Michigan is going to be kind of a measuring stick game, a penis.
Yep.
Ooh. It's going to be a yardstick game. You're going to see how good you are at Michigan. But regardless if we win or lose, we will still be playoff eligible. You know, you can lose 3 games and still make the playoffs, right? So
with
it's not
our schedule. That, like, I think there's some context there. I mean, every year
we could lose 3 games and still be in, right? So it's not like, as long as the team is like really competitive. Obviously I want to win Michigan, and I think we're going to win Michigan just because that's who I am. And so but you will still be able to make the playoffs with 3 losses. Will it be harder? Yeah. A 9-3 season is still better than what we've done.
9-3, I would take 9-3 in a heartbeat. Sure.
Okay, so what is the record that you would like not want Brent Venables back? Like, do you have a threshold of wins he has to get to?
It's like okay, so 9 wins or above, he's safe. 8 wins, it depends on how you could win 8 wins, but you got crushed in the Cotton Bowl and at Alabama and like had a bad home loss. But you also could have been 8-4 and lost in the Cotton Bowl on a last-second field goal and lost in that. Like it depends on the context of the season. If it's less than 8 wins, he's gone, is my opinion.
Okay. No, I think that's totally fair. I don't think, we're not going to speculate on his leaving and then being like, oh, who would you want next? Because that seems pretty far-fetched at this point. Because I think 12-0 is on the table. I think
it is on the table.
It's on the table right now
for every single team.
I'm not gonna discredit it until we lose a game. So
what kind of thinking about, we were talking betting. I think Vegas's line even shifted from 6.5 to 7.5 for OU's win total. How comfortable are you? Try to take your bias aside. How comfortable are you taking OU over 7.5? Very
biased. So Illinois State's a win. Michigan, I think we're going to win that. It's at home.
They have a new quarterback.
Our defensive line is.
I think they have mostly a new
one of the best in the country.
Line. Their 5-star freshman's missing this season, who's an offensive tackle. So
I think that's a win, right? And I don't think they're going to test our corners, who coming out of camp have been the biggest question mark on our defense, according to Teddy and Gabe.
But I've also heard really good things about the cornerback room.
I just don't think they're as deep, right? I just think like those positions on the defense were pretty deep. Like defensive line, deep. I think you have linebackers are 2 or 3 deep.
I think the cornerback room is deeper than the linebacker room.
Okay. Well, I
There's
don't know.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but like you have Kip, Kobe, Sammy Omasigo, Kendall Daniels, the OSU transfers, like kind of moving between linebacker and Cheetah. Technically, he played some safety for OSU, but he's bigger on that front. Corner, Eli Bowen was the freshman All-American last year. He hasn't even practiced this preseason because of an ankle injury, which I think they think he'll be back, but I don't know how that looks.
It'll be interesting to see the difference in this medical staff from last year. Because last year, the medical staff
was not great.
Well, we don't know if they weren't great or they were just flagged with injuries. Our player health was not great last year. Okay, so Illinois State, win. Michigan, win. Temple, win. Auburn, win. Kent State, win.
Basically, you're 5-0 going to the Cotton Bowl.
Right. And then the Cotton Bowl, anything can happen. Either team can win by 50. Either team can lose by 50.
I definitely think it'll be close. Like, I think it'll be like a true football game this year and not like oh God, hold on for dear life and pray we hold them to within 30.
Yes.
That's how it felt the last year and 2 years ago.
I think that's a win. Or I always think we're going to beat Texas just because I hate Texas and I want them to lose every game.
Both sides, even like when we were good and Texas was bad, it was always a coin flip.
It's always a coin flip. So I'm going to give us that 50-50. And we're at 6 wins, right? And do I think we get 2 more wins for South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU?
Missouri is a win. Missouri is a win.
Okay, so Missouri at Norman, I think, is a win. And so that's 7.
I don't know how, like, Ole Miss has had a quarterback in waiting. I think his name's Austin Freeman. They still have talent. They always do well in the transfer portal, but that's at home. We played them well in Oxford last year, even with a bad team. If Tennessee was in Norman this year, I would chalk that up as a win right now. I've that program, and I might eat these words later, but they kicked out their Heisman quarterback potentially because he wanted more money, and brought in. They literally did a quarterback swap. The UCLA quarterback went to Tennessee. Tennessee's quarterback went to UCLA, and so I don't know what the vibes are in
Tennessee. Yeah, I think that would be interesting. I think we beat South Carolina.
That one's a coin flip to me. I think South Carolina's good. They have a good quarterback. They steamrolled us last year. We were down 28 points in the first 5 minutes of that game.
Yeah, so you can't even take that. It was because we had 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns or whatever. It was just terrible. And then I felt like after that it was a close game. If you don't count the first 28 points, we held them pretty close.
That's fair.
So I think South Carolina's a win, Missouri's a win. I could see us beating Tennessee at Knoxville just because,
we've done it before.
We've done it before.
You were talking about 2020, Baker Mayfield's first
2016
year.
or 2015. And then LSU is a win.
I think LSU could be good this year. But that one will be super interesting because that's Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp coming back to Owen Field. And I just let me just call my shot of the year. Bauer Sharp's going to go off in that game. He's going to have 100 yards and a touchdown because that's just how the football gods.
Do you think we lose it?
I don't know. I mean, Garrett Nussmeier for them is one of the Heisman favorites. I think it's well earned. I think they have an offensive line that's very young, but obviously they have a lot of talent on their roster. So you're wondering how much can they come together or can the talent of Nussmeier kind of shadow and overcome some of those inexperiences in key positions. Their wide receiver room is great. They were one of the better running backs in the SEC in Caden Durham. LSU will be, I hope hopefully that's a top 10 matchup. That'd be crazy.
That'd be awesome.
The last week of the season. I don't think we did game day because that's usually Ohio State, Michigan. But if that could be a night game at OU, that would be a heck of a way to send off the regular season. I think one of the toughest games this year is at Alabama. And that's not a crazy thing, but how last year went,
and
we kicked them out of the playoffs. If they won that game, they were in the playoffs.
Sure.
I still have the grass from Owen Field. If we have bad grass this year, that's on me. It's in my nightstand. But at Alabama's gonna be hard.
I see at Alabama, and I think we lose Ole Miss. Do you think 7-2 is kind of I'm shooting? In my heart of hearts believe in 12-0.
But you would lock in 8 wins to take the over.
I think so too. Yeah, I would.
I think you have to be 5-0 going into the Cotton Bowl. You have to for that to be even somewhat of an option. 4-1, it's dicey, but I think the biggest thing with Texas, if you win that game, like you said, if you flip the coin and it's OU side, at South Carolina becomes maybe the toughest game of the year. After that win, going to South Carolina, which I think is a very underrated place to play, and I think they'll be very good this year. And they have a quarterback that mobile quarterbacks are the hardest ones to contain. They still have a really good edge rusher in Dylan Stewart. They had 2 last year. Kyle Kennard went to the NFL. But they have, South Carolina's good. I think Shane Beamer's a good coach. And so the emotions of the Cotton Bowl and then having to go on the road the very next week. If you win in the Cotton Bowl or lose in devastating fashion, it'll be interesting to see emotionally how they respond at South Carolina.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fair. I really do. But I like the bye week before Alabama. We go to Tennessee, we come back, and we have a bye week before we head to Tuscaloosa. I like that. And then finishing with 2 home games, you feel like you can win both those games, right? Yeah. At home gives you a juice, right? You're going to have a little more juice at home. And so I think that kind of helps you out. I see 10-2 as a really realistic option. I bet 8 wins.
Things are falling your way.
Things out, and that's sort of how football is, though. Just like basketball, you got to be lucky in player health. You got to be lucky in the way the ball bounces. Sometimes that's just part of all sports, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm probably more closer to 9-3.
Making the playoffs, missing the playoffs?
I think you're 12th or 13th. So it kind of just depends on
where they
go.
If
you're 10-2, you're in the playoffs. If you're 9-3, it kind of depends on how the rest of the landscape works, how other as the Big Ten beat each other up, where Oregon, Michigan, and Ohio State can't get in. It was just 2 last year, I think. No, 3, because you also have Penn State, who's the second or third ranked team in the preseason poll. So there's it just kind of depends on where the carnage is. Is it in the SEC? Has it been done to OU, or other SEC teams have fallen back? It's super hard to tell, especially with 12 teams. Because when it was 4, it was if you no team with 2 losses, I think, ever made the 14 playoff.
Right.
So
it was much harder.
Much harder. Obviously.
And if you lose earlier, if you're losing if you lose Texas, South, Ole Miss, and Alabama, and then you win 3 in a row,
there's recency bias in the rankings for sure.
If you can get on a hot streak at the end of the season, maybe you lose Michigan and you lose Texas, and then you find
a way to win in Alabama.
You find a way to win in Alabama, and you win 5 in a row to finish the season. It'll be much harder to keep you out of the rankings, right? Because you're playing your best football now.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So, is there anybody you're looking out for, just on the team to have a really good season? Offense, defense.
I mean, there's 85 plus people on the roster, so there's going to be people that break out. There's the obvious ones. I think R. Mason Thomas is going to solidify himself as one of the best sack artists in OU football history, especially now that he has, he has maybe the best defensive line in the country, at least top 3 or 5. That's
really open him up.
They can't double team him every time. The biggest key with that will be who's on the other side of that line with, you're waiting for PJ Adebawore to potentially step up. I haven't heard much about him this preseason, which is unfortunate. You had a transfer come in he started at Georgia. Well, he's not the transfer, but it's Marvin Jones Jr. You mentioned Danny Okoye, who's had a fantastic camp. If he can come in and get 5 or 6 sacks, watch out. Because you need 2 or 3 guys to be able to go get to the quarterback. And if your defensive tackle could be one of it, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's the biggest key with the secondary you mentioned is the secondary obviously didn't play well for so many years in Norman. but there's 11 guys on the field. And so, like, if you have the best defensive line in the country or one of the best, and you only have to guard for 2.5 or 3 seconds because the guys are getting to the quarterback versus having to cover for 5 or 6 seconds because the quarterback's standing there just doing
different.
It's a lot easier to play defense on the back end.
We would talk about Zach. What's his
Sanchez.
name? Zach Sanchez a lot differently. If he only had to guard,
I think he's one of the best cornerbacks in the last 20 years at OU. But he just
he gets a bad rap because he
was boomer bust.
And
Very boomer bust.
And he did have to like face guard for like 8 seconds sometimes.
Yeah.
And like people are going to get away from you at that point, right?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I think I'd love for David Stone to have a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Out of camp, there's a lot of talk about Cortland Guillory, who's a freshman, and then sophomore Devin Jordan from Union in Tulsa. Devin Jordan, I think, is starting. Like it's kind of trending that he would start corner. The other guy on the defensive line that kind of seems to be getting a ton of pub this season or this preseason, who might start, is Taylor Wine. And he was kind of like a low end.
6'4", 276, redshirt sophomore from Brentwood, Tennessee.
Yeah, like apparently 6'4", 276. You kidding me?
He's so large.
Well, and Todd Bates said in his interview today, we only have one defensive tackle under 300 pounds. And when he got here, we had one defensive. Todd Bates was the biggest guy in the room, he said, as the coach. But Taylor Wine's got a ton of
speed deep in different concepts.
Well, it was the leftovers.
D.
The leftovers of Speed D.
Sure.
But I think Taylor Wine could be like you want to find 2 or 3 of those stories of a guy who people don't really know nationally that somehow sneak onto an all SEC second team or something like that really define the depth of your team.
Sure.
And that determines how well you're playing, if you're on national television, if you're on College Game Day. He's one of those guys that people have kind of penciled in as like, hey, watch out for him. He could be good. Offensively, I mean, it begins and ends with John Mateer. Like, bottom line, if he is who you think you are, who we think he is, and we can like look like a competent football team on the offensive side, it would bring so much joy. Like the first series this year, if we go 3 and out, the groans you will hear from the stadium.
It might be boos.
We're firing him on the first play. He might, like, every time that anything happens, like Eddie Radosevich brought this up on Sooner Scoop and the U40. Anytime OU's like driving and like the spread is kind of in question, everyone's gonna be like, Mateer either has OU to cover or not, depending on how this drive goes.
Yeah. That's like that third down percentage is something that I keep an eye on for the first.
You've said that
games.
for several years,
and it's always been
I'll
bad.
give you that.
And our offense has always been bad, right? I'll be interested to see our running stats. We haven't ran the ball particularly well in the last 2 or 3 seasons, so our rushing yards I hope are high.
Well, the line was horrible last year. Like,
sure,
the line has to be better. Yeah.
And so, like,
everyone has to be better on the offensive side.
Those are things I want to see in the first game. I want to see our rushing yards high, our third down conversion percentage to be close to 100%, if not, definitely above 75%. But that's kind of dependent. Like, how many third downs do we have, right? If we score 60 points and we have, and we're 1 of 3 on third down, like that probably doesn't tell you as much. But like, if we're getting to third down a lot and our conversion percentage is low, I'm starting to get worried.
Yeah,
because it's been a good indication of what the offense have been the last couple of years. Yeah. So
and I think I said John Mateer, I said the line. You have to have 2 or 3 receivers step up. Deion Burks is all talk right now. Like, he released a video where he was like, I didn't want to leave having given less or had been given more than I've given. Like, he's gotten more from OU than he's given back. And so that's why he came back this year. If he's healthy, he's a heck of a player. He's very electric. I mean, he had, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first game last year. I think those were the only touchdowns he scored all year.
Yeah, he didn't play much after that.
No, he got hurt against Tennessee. But if he can step up, there's a transfer from Arkansas, Isaiah Satanga, who's apparently just been talking, like Stoya brought it up on U40 as well. It's like, you want standouts every day in practice, but you want it to be the same people. Like you want him to like Isaiah Satenga's brought up every day when you look at fall camp notes, or coaches talking about him. You don't want like they talk about the tight end room. Like Jaron Kinect was good this day, and then Will Huggins was good the next day, and then Kent was good. Like it's never the same guy. You need 2 or 3 of these guys to be the guys, and Satenga's trending that way. I think Burks could play a big part, obviously, if he's healthy. And honestly, like one of the guys that is kind of catching on, and it would be great to see is Elijah Thomas, who's a freshman out of Chicago.
They say he can fly.
Yeah.
But that all depends on who John Mateer is comfortable with. He will have a guy, specifically on third down, he will go to a bunch. That's just like everyone in college football does, right? There's a guy like Sterling Shepard. You can think of Ryan
CD, Ryan
Broyles. Those guys were their quarterback's third down guy, where they knew they had them. They knew they'd get open on a third down.
Is an American former professional football.
Serious listening.
Now owns the porch.
Well, one of the things you mentioned about that, and like a note of the 2023 team that went into the Cotton Bowl, beat Texas, undefeated going into the Kansas game, lost 2 of the last 3, I think, to miss the Big 12 championship and then the playoffs. That offense was rolling, and not that they weren't still good, but Angelo Anthony got hurt in the Cotton Bowl, and he was a guy that came in. He was at Michigan before. It's never going to be thought of this way, but I specifically remember Gabriel looked for him every single third down. And then when he got hurt and we lost him for the year, there wasn't that like, you're picking up 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 8s on slants because he trusted Anthony to be in the spot and he hit him. Like you mentioned, you have to find who the guy is.
Right.
And I don't know, it's going to be interesting. Arbuckle, I think, spread out the love a lot. He doesn't use the tight end room a lot. So it's going to be a lot on the receivers, and I think a lot. I think Jaden Ott's going to be featured a lot in the passing game too,
which is good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. And on from the offensive side, last year it felt like the fans were begging, just kept begging on their knees, begging for the offense to throw the ball down the field. And so I'm going to be looking for some of that in the first game too, where the defense is probably not what we're going to see in the SEC. So you're going to be able to get the ball downfield. And if you can't do it against this team, we're not going to be able to do it against anybody else.
I don't disagree with that, but there's also something to be said that I think it's going to be a pretty vanilla game plan week 1. And so you're not going to see a lot because they're saving it for Michigan.
I get that. Totally true. Maybe I should.
I bet Jay Knott gets 10 carries.
Maybe I shouldn't look at that.
You can look at like 2 things can be true. You're saving stuff for Michigan, but you also can just tell like the confidence that the guys have on offense. Yes, they should take some shots. So Michigan's not just like cramming the like they might not go score 50, but you have to you will be able to tell if this offense is more competent, even if they're vanilla. Sure.
Okay, you're right. If guys are actually running open, I would be like last year. Never saw a guy run wide open like we did when Lincoln Riley was
here.
And
when you did, Jackson Arnold either was fumbling it or on his back already because he got sacked.
I couldn't see it. Couldn't see it. And he seems to be having the same troubles at Auburn. So we'll see. They
said they have 3 quarterbacks. And the old saying that if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Well, they have 3. So, yeah. So
it's closing out. OU football, excited for week 1 versus Illinois State.
We'll talk about that more next week a little bit.
Lots to look forward to. With the new year, there's the renewed hope that we might actually be good at football. Like historically, we've been good at football. So this is a renewed hope that we will be good at football. That's kind of how I'm looking at it.
I mean, you've done your job. I'm starting to get a little revved up. I think the bottom line, if John Mateer is so good that like people are like he can speak Braille, like if he's that good, I'm in.
Okay. You should be in now, but that's okay. I'll let you jump. I'll let you jump on the back of the wagon after Michigan. So
it might be Illinois State. If we put up 50 on Illinois State, I'll be like, all right. But we did put up 51 on Temple.
That's what I was to say.
Yeah.
So all right. So moving on. Just one quick thing. We are the last week of the PGA season is next week, or is this week? I think it starts Thursday.
Tomorrow.
And so if they're not doing the shotgun, not shotgun start, but the
Strokes.
the stroke start where like the leader for the PGA Championship has 20 shots. He's ahead 10 shots already. So talk me into why I should take anybody else besides Scotty Scheffler.
If you want to take anyone else than Scotty Scheffler, you're financially sound and you don't mind losing money.
Yes. Okay. Because there is nobody else to take. He is a monster, the best golfer we've seen since Tiger. So
Rory can make a run. I mean, like any golf tournament, someone can get hot for 4 days.
Yes.
But if you could even bet like Scotty to be top 5, that's a lock to me.
I think you would probably, if you bet $100, you might win like
$20.
$20. Like it would be nothing. So.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I think it's cool. I think one thing they need to do, I'm glad the strokes went away, but I think they need to go
match play.
Match play.
I think that would be
really fun team
into the season.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, and there was some ESPN notification that Tiger Woods is leading some group that is going to bring change to the PGA. So we'll see what happens there. Lots of sports going on. It's the start of the best time of the year where, playoff baseball.
Hoodie season.
Hoodie season, as Ben likes to call it. The start of basketball season's coming back, and hockey. You'll soon have the sports equinox. So it's starting to become sports season, not just football season.
Tomorrow.
And
tomorrow we're 2 weeks out from the NBA season opener. Like that's kind of crazy, but
no, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
2 months.
2 months. 2 months.
2 weeks. I was like,
yeah. We just will post this podcast in 2 months. Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, 2.
Time flies. Flies.
I am not ready to go back into that arena yet.
No.
So.
We gotta go hang out with 82 or 85,000 at Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial football season before we do that.
Our best friends.
But yeah, there you have it. We're mixing it up now. We'll be talking a little bit more football, a little bit more sports. Obviously, any Thunder news that comes out, any Thunder news, we'll be on it. But it's kind of a dead period now, leading into training camp that starts in September. But we're full steam ahead with football. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about or cover, or if we were wrong on anything, don't be afraid to let us know. I know a couple of you will.
If you want us to talk more OSU football, if you think we should be more Oklahoma sports, that could be an interesting take on what we're doing here. So if you think we should, or I should make Ben learn about OSU football, let us know.
Well, we won't break it, but like in the next week or two, we might have something for all the OSU fans out there, and a couple other guests we're trying to get lined up. So it's an exciting time. Tell your friends, like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star if you want to. If you don't think we're a 5-star, there's not even a rating system. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
But again, appreciate everybody for listening. We're having fun. But with that, I think we're going to sign off. We'll be back next week to talk a little week 0, preview week 1. It's a fun time of year, as Chris said. So appreciate everybody for listening. We'll talk to you again next week. See ya.
See ya.
All night long, party, we like to party, party, party.